Detroit is different here at BuyDetroit's Passport to Procurement, here with Valencia Stoudamire. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you, Khary?
Everything's cool. Everything's cool. And being at this event, we've interviewed and talked to many businesses. We've talked to some other people working in the space, but a lot of businesses are wondering, look, how do I get to the money? You're one of those people. So being in an event like this, first off, why is it important for small businesses to learn outside of, as we say, the school of hard knocks, how to be ready for larger scale contracts?
Oh, that's a great question. And I think it's absolutely important to support and participate in events like this, not just for the suppliers, but also for us as the buyers as well. But I think it's an opportunity for us to connect with them in a more organic way, to really understand why we have the time to come together and really learn more about their products and their services. I have, found some really innovative and unique products and services while I was here, and it gave me an opportunity to really collaborate with these suppliers or communicate with these suppliers in a different way to understand what they do in this space, which is a little different than, sometimes when they're reaching out and we're actually in the office and we may not be able to connect as much as we can. But I think it's a great opportunity for us to learn more about their businesses, for them to also understand how we do business as well, too. So there may or may not be opportunities for products or services, but it's a chance for us to communicate what that process is like. So at Henry Ford, we have a supplier portal where companies can go online, submit their information for inclusion in future bid opportunities. So we have that information readily available, but it helps to put a face and a product, to the name of that business as well, and it helps us to identify them when opportunities arise. So I always tell people, when they go into the vendor profile and they submit their information, we may not have an opportunity at that time. I could be in year one of a 3-year contract, right? But at some point, that contract's going to cycle, and so we'll rely on that information, to reach out to them and connect with them for inclusion. But like I said, it's important for them to, or for us to actually have the opportunity to talk to them and understand more about their business and how we kind of think about ways that we can connect or where there are synergies within our organization, or if there are networks outside of our organization that we can connect these suppliers to as well. So there are individuals who participated in the pitch competition today, and I had some individuals I think that came to mind outside of my organization that we might be able to connect them with as well. So it's about making that connection between the buyers and the suppliers, but also leveraging some other contacts that we all might have, supplier to supplier or buyer to supplier.
All right, and with that, you've given some rich information here where I'm sure that business owners like taking notes and stuff like that. So amongst your taking notes, what are some of the usual obstacles that these businesses face when they do try the school of hard knocks way, when they try to just, barge their way into Henry Ford Hospital and say, hey, guess what? I have the very best, let's use the economic term, widget that can help with your organization. And you're sitting there talking to the person at the front desk like, not necessarily here.
Yeah.
Ma'am.
Yeah, no, great question too, because depending on the product or service, especially in a healthcare environment, there is a certain level of compliance, especially in the clinical space, right? So it's not just enough for someone to come in and say that I have this product and you can use this in a patient care environment. But in many spaces, it does have to have FDA compliance or, 510K compliance, which are regulatory requirements as well. So you can't just bring a product into a clinical environment and expect that we're going to use it without thoroughly vetting that product for compliance and for quality, because for us, our patients and their safety is number one for us. But the other thing, too, that I will say, and I see this a lot, and I share this with suppliers, when they find out what I do, and they say, well, and I ask them what they do, and they say, well, what do you need? And I always say that's the wrong answer. What we need is someone who's an expert in their particular field at that particular time. So not a jack of all trades and a master of none. We're looking for individuals who have taken the time to invest in themselves and their businesses to become experts. And so when we're going out to market, we're looking for someone who says, this is what I do. I've invested in myself, I've invested in my company, and I know I do it well. And this is how I can meet the needs of your organization. Those are the individuals that are going to grab attention. Those are the individuals who are going to really work and dedicate themselves to meeting the needs of their customer, as opposed to someone who might say, well, whatever you need, I can do. And my first question is, well, how do you know that, right? So it's, I always say that, be an expert and really invest in what you're doing and be able to articulate that very well and be able to align what you're doing with the needs of your customers or your potential customers.